So, welcome to another CNC Router Mixer. We do these every Tuesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Eastern Daylight right now. But if you'd like to join us, there is a link in the comments to this video, and we'd love to have you. We talk about anything CNC related, CNC router tables, 3D printers, laser cutters, any of that. Whatever it is that you would like to discuss and uh, talk about that's CNC related. Um, it's fair game. We've had quite a lot of activity lately with guys working on and completing projects with their CNC router tables. Recently, Bert finished his teardrop camper. We had Anthony finish wiring up his router table. Milo is always creating something new and exciting. We've looked at new software that's out there, and we've had quite an active time. And when some of the guys get here, I got something that I would like to unbox that I just got in the post today from Amazon. One of their Prime Day specials. I think uh, you may enjoy it. Um, So, when we get a few guys on, we will we'll go into that. I'm gonna do a little bit of quick housekeeping here and close down some tabs that aren't being used, so that it's not as confusing for me um, as we're going forward. So let's see. There. So hopefully this is still showing live in Facebook. If not, please leave a comment and tell me, that it dropped off. But I think we're good. Um, oh yeah. Um, it's the time of year when I get out and try and clean up the garage and rearrange things and try and make sure that it's all set for projects that I'm going to do in the rest of the summer and into the fall. There's kind of a sweet spot time wise as far as doing projects in upstate New York. So if you've got a project you really want to try and get it before it's too hot in the summer, and then that period of time doesn't last very long, and then it begins to get cooler and cooler. Usually you can get somewhere in the October, November, December timeframe where without worrying about um, heating the garage. But after that, you've got to turn on the furnace if you have one, and we do, but um, we try and use that sparingly. But it is nice to be able to continue and work on a project through the winter. There are some months up here in upstate New York where you're spending more time trying to get the workshop up to temperature than you are actually working in it. So, it's kind of a one of those things. If it's below zero, you might want to just stay in and do something else. Maybe do some CAD work on the computer inside the house because it's going to be cold out in the shop. Really, really cold. So I know that right now we're in the 80s and 90s, and folks aren't even thinking about cold, but here in upstate New York, that happens pretty quick. So yeah, they say that there's two seasons here in upstate New York: construction season and winter. So you just gotta deal with it. So anyway, um, man, I'm really hoping that some of the guys will pop in here, Kurt or Tally or Ned, because I really want to show this thing off. I have purposely not finished opening the box of it so we can do it here. Um, so getting antsy to see if it's everything that I hope for. Um, One thing that I talked about earlier was a set of plans that's available for a fourth axis for those who might consider adding a fourth axis to their router table or to their milling machine. This particular set of plans is good enough that you could use it for either a router or for a milling machine. And I think it's pretty cool to see um, what people are capable of creating and sharing nowadays. It's really kind of a nice set of plans, and I showed them earlier on a different mixer to some of the guys uh, that attended, and hopefully they'll remember that, because what I got on Amazon has something to do with that project. So, looking forward to it. So no spoilers until that happens. Um, on a totally non CNC related topic, if you haven't seen the new Superman movie, I highly recommend it. It was very fun. It was a new look at Superman, legend and everything. And I kind of um, thought that even though they went in a different direction, they did it well. And that's what it's all about when you're doing movies. Anyway, um, I posted the link inside of the group, and hopefully some folks are going to get a chance to take a peek and join us tonight. So if you got the time, come on down. Otherwise, this is going to be a short broadcast. I'll just reveal the item I was talking about, and then uh, you know head out. But I know with it being summer, and so many hours of daylight, folks are doing things longer and longer out, in the shops and everything. So don't really have the time to come in and do these things, where they're sitting in front of the PC for a couple hours. But you know, it is what it is. Never quite sure often, how long it will take people to come on here. So it is what it is. I got a message and email from somebody asking me about the CNC Router Tips podcast. Um, some of you may know that I hosted a podcast, the Q&A and interview podcast about CNC router tables for quite a few years. And at some point prior to the pandemic, I stopped doing the podcast episodes. I never formally closed it down, but I also didn't produce any more content for it. And people were asking me, if I'm going to get back into producing the content. And the long and short of it was, it was getting um, difficult coming up with new topics every week, uh, because we talked about a lot of things. There was somewhere in the vicinity of 50 or 60 episodes of the show, and we covered a lot of things, from basics to how to set up your machine, to what bit to select. We had some folks on who covered speeds and feeds for us. We had interviewed a lot of the folks in our group who have great stories about how they got into CNC and what they did and why they were so passionate about it. Some of those are the best episodes, actually. And to my knowledge, although I haven't looked today, all of those episodes are still up on Apple. So it's a CNC Router Tips podcast, if you want to go and check some of those out. But I don't have immediate plans for making more episodes. But if I did, it would be a fall project. It would not be something I'd be taking on this summer. So I hope that answers that question for you. So I really enjoyed doing the show, but if you run out of content, it's just you talking to your microphone, kind of like I'm doing right now with the microphone and with the video camera. The advantage of doing these CNC mixers instead of the podcast, generally we have somebody else on and we can talk about their projects and we can talk about my projects. We can answer each other's questions, give each other help, that sort of thing. And it just makes for generally an easier process for me. I don't edit these. So there goes, several hours a week just editing the podcast just to put it up there. And, I'm not generating new artwork to go with every episode. I'm not doing all the things that make podcasting time consuming and difficult. Doing a live stream allows me not to have to do those things. There is one concern that just recently started popping up when we go and find a YouTube video, for instance, that we want to talk about a particular process. If that video has copyright music in it or whatever, it doesn't matter. Facebook or YouTube could take the video down of the live stream, just make it unavailable. And that's kind of tough because you never know what the video content is or what what's in it until you start to play it. And yeah, if we have to avoid doing that, then we have to avoid doing that. But perhaps I can come up with ways to pre-screen or pre-select the video, or maybe just provide a link to you, so that we don't break their fair use policy. So that's kind of where we're at with that. Okay, it's about 15 minutes in here, and no one has shown up tonight. So I guess I'm just going to go ahead and unbox this. And if they're interested or they're catching this at a late minute, they can pop on to see what it is. But one of the so let's see, hang on. One of the things that we just mentioned was the fourth axis project that I've been working on, and I'm gonna open up that and kind of show you a little bit of what I'm talking about in Fusion 360, and share that screen with you so you can see what that looks like. First, I gotta get Fusion 360 to open up. Okay. And these plans I'm referring to came from a guy that was in the Tormach users group, and he sells the plans for ridiculously low price. They're like $10, I think I spent on the plans, and it gives you a bill of materials of what you need, and Fusion 360 drawings of each of the parts that you need to complete this. And it works out pretty nice if you try and build this fourth axis. It's got a 50-to-1 ratio reduction gear. So you put in the stepper, you have to get one complete revolution, you have to spin the stepper motor 50 times. So that's a pretty nice workable speed for fourth axis work. You don't want to really get much lower than that. Like a 20-to-1 might be too fast of a you know of a rotation for it. But here we go. We're all set now. So as you can see on the screen, this is kind of what the fourth axis looks like that he designed. And it could be mounted in T-slots or, bolted to the table, whatever. What it uses is a harmonic drive to spin it. And a harmonic drive is a special kind of motion device that they're also called strain wave drives. There's a flexible toothed inner ring, and then there's uh, another thing that rubs up against the sides of that's toothed, and it pushes the flexible portion out of shape so that it engages the teeth on the inside of the gearbox, and that allows it to spin around. Anyway, as you can see, this one's showing um, a lathe chuck, a 3-jaw chuck is used, and that allows it to take up to a little over an inch worth of aluminum through here, which is pretty cool. But there are times when you want a bigger part, because this could handle up to a 6-inch piece, or excuse me, 4 or 6. I think it's 6-inch piece with this particular setup. So if you wanted, you could remove the chuck, and this faceplate has lots of mounting holes for different things. And for that matter, you could remove the faceplate and replace it with a different thing, as long as the hole pattern matched up. And that would allow you to use this fourth axis with different different gripping methods, like a 5C collet, or even an ER collet could be used on this, depending on what you did. Well, anyway, so I was looking around on Amazon during the Prime Day sale, and an item came up, and at the time during the sale, it was I think it was 129 on special. But if you notice, the regular price of it was like 165 for this particular vise. So this is what I got. Okay. And I got it from Amazon. And the box arrived along with another product that I bought the same day that was marked fragile, all in the same box, no packing. But thankfully, um, both of them arrived undisturbed, in good condition. Hey, Ned, see you coming on. Welcome. Um, just getting ready to unbox something.
Hey, Bill, how's it going?
Going well, Ned.
Ugh.
Yeah, you caught me about to unbox this.
Oh, did you? Oh, good stuff. What is it?
So I just shared to the folks what it actually is, rather than keeping them in suspense, because it was just me uh, here. But I picked this up on Prime Day, at a discount. Now it's the normal price, but this is the
Okay, self-centering vise. That looks interesting.
yep. This is the little vise. It's the round one. This one that I'm showing here, um, right there. So let's uh let's take a peek in the box, see how it is. Now it comes in a nice two-part box with all sorts of Mandarin writing all over it, direct from China. Um, hmm, it's got expanded polypropylene um, padding. This is the wrench to open it.
Actually, I've got a few of those wrenches. They're really handy wrenches, those ones.
Hmm. I've never used it, so it should be interesting. There's a
I haven't got the vise, I've just got the wrenches.
there's a few bushings that they have here. I may just get rid of my background here because it's gonna make it hard to see stuff anyway. So um, let's see, a little further down into the box here. Oh, sucker's not light. Uh, so it's padded all around with these EPP foam pieces. There we go. All right, that comes out. Now this is a oh wait, even better. This had Ziploc bag on it. I was about to cut it. All right. I'm anticipating this being oily, so I got some paper towel here ready to go. Man, this bag is strong. Okay. And I was right. Uh, anyway, this thing is a self-centering vise, and it opens up just over 3 inches. So it can hold a pretty good size workpiece. Um, it's got serrated edge jaws to clamp into the part. It's also got smooth jaws and a built-in step for parallels. So you don't need parallels with this particular vise. Um, on the bottom of it, it's got 52 millimeter spacing. So you can get these special shaped plugs that screw into the bottom of this thing. And then you can use one of those quick disconnect plates that they have in milling, for instance. So one twist, and then you can remove this, replace it, rotate it, all sorts of things. But this is going to go on the faceplate of that fourth axis that I showed a couple of weeks ago. And here we are again. I'll show it again. It's going to go on the front of this.
Is that like a rotary?
Mm-hmm. Yep. So this is a do-it-yourself rotary. I'm going to remove some of the stuff inside so you can see. Let's see that cover. There we go. Cover door. Kind of what we've got. It's a pulley system for the stepper, um, and that drives a. Get rid of the frame. I think it was called. Where's the frame? Frame. Gone. That drives one of these, which is a harmonic drive, and that allows it to spin. So you can get an idea of how that's driven with a tooth belt, timing belt. Um, and this would go on the front of that. So
Are you making that rotary axis or
I am.
ah?
Yeah. So um, yeah.
It sounds very interesting with a harmonic drive like that.
hmm the plans for this thing were dirt cheap. And there's already a couple of examples of guys who've built it. So I know it's a sound design. Um, so just it's a bigger version of what Tormach already offers. Um, in other words, and by the time you've built it up, it's probably one-fourth the cost to do it yourself. But it just takes time. So
Huh.
I'm excited about this Vice though. Um,
Actually, with that vise, how are you going to mount that vise onto the? Are you going to make like a 90-degree plate or something like that, or are you going to have it so as like some sort of pivot plate? Or
um, it's going to mount against the faceplate of um, of the fourth axis. So it spins this way. The part I need to the part I need for this for is um, for the manufacture of more triple edge finders, etc. I need to machine on multiple sides of that, and this will allow that.
okay,
Yep. So I'd be doing second operation stuff with this one. The majority of the machining for the triple edge finder happens on a pallet and then can go to this to do the thing that I was already doing in another vise one at a time, and then having to reset it. Whereas this will allow me to push the button and have it go through all the sides that need anything at one shot. So, um, yeah, it's just spending spending some money. I've been looking at one of these for a while. I'm opening the vice jaws up a little bit off camera here. Um,
actually, can you measure the like? Can you measure the actual? I know that you said that
the
it was
actual
3 inches
diameter.
or 75 millimeters. What is the actual opening size? Because you know what, if it's exactly 75 millimeters, that's a bit of a pain.
No, it's more than that. According to the docs. Um,
Because the bar stock that I use is 75 and a half, 76 millimeters, something like that. So you need to be able to hold just 1 or 2 millimeters more to start, sort of thing.
well, I don't know that I've got it open all the way yet, but that's at 59. And let's see how far she goes. It says on the documentation that it will do um, from 0 to 3.54 inches. So 0 to 90
Okay.
millimeters. Yeah. So
Oh,
I'm
that's
only,
good.
yeah. I don't know if you have to, here. I don't know why I said, oh, I do know why. There is apparently um, this wrench is two-ended. I didn't realize that. So as you get further out, um,
And one of the beauties about that wrench is it should have a hole, like it should have an opening right on the bend. So you can have a really long thread that you can like poke the short end through to undo it. They're really handy wrenches.
well, this is not showing up at the right height, but I know that these jaws are reversible, and that may be the case that I have to reverse the jaws in order to get that 90 millimeters. So let's see. Yeah, that's showing. Okay, it's 45 millimeters in forward, which is the position it came shipped in, and then when you reverse the jaws, it goes to 90. And there's um, serrated
Can I have a look
edges.
at the sides?
Sure. Here,
When, so how would it look
hang
support
on just a
wise once
second.
you reverse them?
Let's see. Get closer. Uh,
Looks like you'd have a little bit more support maybe as well once you reverse them.
yeah. Let's see. Adjust background again. You can see that a little clearer. Um, I imagine you'd be going against these surfaces when you reversed it,
Mm.
or against here. But these two bolts pop out, and you can flip them, and it goes in either direction. So
No.
to get it in the configuration I would want, um, I would have to reverse those because I need it to be at least 3 inches, and to hold the rough stock. No, that would
Yeah. So
be
you're using 75 mil flat bar or 3-inch flat bar to start with. Yeah.
3 inch. Yeah. Let's see. Where are we? There we go. So what's this work out to in well, well, I just re-zeroed it by accident. Um, go again. So 3 inches ends up being 80, roughly 80 um, millimeters. So if their stuff is accurate, then this should be no problem.
Well, actually, 3 inches should be 75, 76.2.
Yep. So this should have plenty of ability to grab onto what it is that I'm hoping for. And if not, hey, it was an inexpensive mistake. Most of my vices cost hundreds more. So um, seems to be.
I guess it comes. I guess it comes down to what you're machining. A lot of like, so I've been looking at a couple of smaller vices as well.
Mhm.
And if you are doing larger things that you want to hold, and
Mhm.
particularly if you want to do like large surfacing, like use a large fly cutter or like a 1 or 2 inch cutter, and you want to remove a lot of material, then you need a very strong vice. But for a lot of smaller stuff, as long as it's more so the guides for the vice jaws that they're sturdy and they don't bend.
Yeah.
That's the bigger thing. Yeah,
Yeah. For the
and the repeatability.
for these operations that I want it to do, it's um, an engraving and a drilling, and countersinking. So none of those is a real difficult, deep workload on the part. So,
Hmm.
um, and uh, who knows what else? Yeah. So anyway, that was my Amazon Prime Day find, and I thought it was a cool one. Um,
You
but
you
yeah.
might also find that you can get a ball, or you might make yourself a ball for the bottom half of it, so you could put it in like a little cradle and do some chasing, or some try your hand at some chasing, or something like that.
Hmm. Yeah, the company makes lots of accessories that go with this, um, that allow for, quick swapping, 0 point machining, that sort of thing. Um, so apparently the 52 millimeter, I think it's 52. I don't want to misquote that and get everybody excited, but I believe it's 52 millimeter spacing, um, for the connection plate. Let me see here, the quick change plate. Um, there's two common sizes of quick change plates, and the quick change plates tend to cost more, uh, more than um, more than the vices, but the it's just the way it is. Um, but these were meant to be compatible with several different manufacturers' plates, quick change plates. Um, the one that I'm looking at is about $200, but I can't find it this quickly. Um, well, here's one example. This one is round, but they usually are square. Um, let me see. So if you were using this in a milling machine, for instance, you could bolt it uh, to this. Let's see, to this, and it's a quarter turn on that screw that's on the side of it, and that puts out these detents that lock the studs in place. And this is what the studs look like.
A
And
cam
those,
lock.
yep, and those studs screw into the bottom of this the vise at let's call it a 52 millimeter spacing. I think that's what it is. Um,
Oof, those base plates are worth more than the vise.
yep. so so anyway, but once you have the base plate, it opens up so many different possibilities. There are guys who will have a 5-axis machine that is equipped with four, three, four, five of these plates around a specially beveled fixture, and they'll put of the rectangular shaped plates. They'll put a bunch of. Why won't that one show up? Well, hmm. uh, Amazon is being funky. So they'll put like 4 or 5 of these around this fixture, and then they'll use the square jawed vices instead of the round one like this, and they'll have 5 or 6 work pieces there. And when they hit cycle start, it's able to machine um, 5 sides of the part because it's a 5th axis machine uh, on 5 different, 5 or 6 different pieces at a time. And I don't have the I don't have the 5th axis
so,
machine, but
so
yeah.
tell me why you need a rotary axis on your for your triple edge finder.
Um, to reduce the numbers of times that I have to handle the part. You don't absolutely need one, but it makes it much easier to make the part. Um, here's an example. Okay, now this is still a one part solution that I've got with this uh, vise that I chose. Um, with the 4th axis rotating around, the 360, I can machine or engrave on a side, retract the Z, rotate 90 degrees, do the next part, rotate 90 degrees, do that, and when that's done, I remove the finished part from this setup. Um, Currently, with a conventional machining vise, I'm taking the part, putting it in the vise, doing a drilling operation, removing it from the vise, putting it back in, establishing the zero again, um, tightening it down, doing the next one, and on and on around the 4 sides of this part. So it's just 4 times I have to open the door, blow off the part with the air gun, manipulate the part, get it right, make sure it's all indexed, tighten the vise again, close the door, hit cycle start again. That's a lot of time with me standing in the machine.
So, what's your working area in the machine?
Um, nine, but or let's see, 13 or 18. I think it's 18 by 9 by 16 or something like that. It's got a high Z.
So, 16 is X or 16 is Z?
Um, the last one I mentioned, I think the 16 is the Z.
And what's
So
your X?
the X is I think 18.
18. Okay, so why wouldn't you just make a fixture plate that will hold a piece of flat bar with toe clamps, and then machine basically what you would do is you would machine 4 holes similar to that plate that you're sharing at the moment, because I'm looking at a triple edge finder. Machine 2 or 4 holes, so your triple edge finder would actually end up having a couple of holes in it, um, that you would also use as locating and fixing holes. And at the same time, you would then, in that one process, you would cut that flat bar into four pieces. I think three or four pieces. So that way you've got your holes, and you end up with 3 or 4 pieces of billet that you start working with.
Mm-hmm.
Then once you've processed, say, 20, 30 of them, then you had a fixture plate that you could then fix, 4 or 8 or 6. Oh, sorry, four. You could do 4 on there, and then all in the one process. You machine one side,
Mm-hmm.
undo the actual. Then you'd use those locating holes to bolt to hold them down. You would then do your sides and your first side machining. Then you take that plate out, reload it by flipping them over, and then do the back operation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
and
you'd
then
probably do
go ahead.
you,
Yeah,
you'd be doing 4 or 6 in, or maybe even 8 in one hit.
yeah. My current process does 6 at a time. So
Okay.
but it's not using bar stock. Uh, it 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 uses pre-cut blanks, which
Okay.
I find easier. Um, anyway, what you're describing can work and it is good. If I want to change the design, um, I have a similar thing with a different kind of fixture plate where I do um, most of the work on the first operation, flip it and finish it with the second operation. The only thing that I don't have is the things that are on the edge of the part that I need drilled into. I don't have a triple edge finder sitting handy, or it would make sense. But I do have another part that I was making for a guy. Similar problem or process. Stop sharing for a second. Um, so on the part I make, all of the top surface gets made, all of the perimeter gets made, and it ends up, with a block with some excess material. In the case of the triple edge finder, one of the features that I made in the first process that I just described indexes and allows me to mount 6 more of these to um, the second fixture, which does the backside and indexes and makes everything cool. So it's about 80% done at that point, because it's got the perimeter done, it's got the top surface and the bottom surface done, it's got the big hole in the chamfer and around the hole, and everything is good. But then there's these oh, you're
Yeah, I can
screaming.
see the got holes on the
Yeah,
sides. Yeah.
there's the side holes which you plug in your banana plug and your that sort of thing, um, that need to be accounted for, and then there's the engraving that marks the part and identifies it. So um, that's a lot of times flipping this thing to get to take care of those 4 sides. When with this, theoretically, I'd be able to do all 4 sides of those because I've got an automatic tool changer. Um, and it would just go in, drop the drill, drop the hole, drop the counter bore, rotate, do the same thing on the other side that has that, because I have them on 2 sides. Maybe I'll go to 3 now, and then rotate, and the diamond drag engraver comes in, and it does its thing and does the engraving, um, and that's essentially done. So that's the whole reason for it. if I had had a fourth axis when I first laid up the triple edge finder, when I first designed it, I would just put a piece of bar sticking out of the vice jaws of that thing, and I would machine 5 of the 6 sides in the first operation, including coming through and doing material removal so that the thing is sitting there floppy and with just a little piece that you could break off my hand, holding the part out, take it out of there, and then put it in the other fixture on the fourth axis so that it could drill the holes. Do you understand? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So now I'm
Yeah.
down to
Yeah. Yeah.
2 operations. Yeah, it's just, yeah, this this is not a high volume product anyway. Um, and I wanted a
It's
fourth
always good to
axis.
challenge yourself. It's
Yeah.
always good to challenge yourself and learn.
Yep.
That's an important thing as well. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, and I wanted a fourth axis, but I didn't want to pay. Um,
And you wanted an excuse to buy one.
yeah, exactly. So, so yeah,
uh,
here we go. Um, but yeah, by the time, probably by the time I'm done with the project, I'll have spent over between $700 and $1,200 on the whole project, start to finish, depending on what I scrap and you know how that goes. Um,
I know how that goes.
but to do a similar product direct from Tormach is about 8 or 9 thousand.
Ooh, yeah.
Yeah. So um, I could use the other 7,000 to do a lot more projects and a lot more upgrades to my machine. Yeah. So that's me. I'm cheap and I like to build stuff. So
Yeah. It's always good to do stuff yourself. I just find it actually frustrating when you want to build something because you also want to learn and that from them, but
hmm
sometimes you can buy stuff at such a stupidly cheap price that you
yes.
even go, why would I build it? But
Yeah.
building it, once upon a time when you started engineering,
hmm
there's quite a few projects that you undertake from the start, like you make your own square. These days, why would you make your own square? You know what I mean?
hmm
Like,
Yeah.
but you do learn a lot while you're doing that as well.
hmm
Um,
let's see. I'm gonna see if I can find the thing from Tormach where they show their accessory, and
well,
it's a nice accessory, but
I've
yeah,
gotten
there.
some little toys myself.
Ooh, cool, cool, cool.
Some T5 timing belts,
hmm
and basically I've decided on that CNC that I'm building. This is for the Z axis, so this is a two
Move it.
to
There you go.
one
Yeah,
two to one reduction. I've gone the
gonna make sure the
15
speaker's
mil,
here.
which will be around about uh, what's um, what's 3/8 and a quarter. So that's
Let's see, 3/8.
just
I got a
15
chart
mil,
here.
50
Yeah. Okay.
under.
Go ahead.
So it'll be somewhere around about 5/8.
hmm
It'll be somewhere. It's a about a 5/8 timing belt in
hmm
width. So I wanted to make sure I get good tooth engagement, so there's no slip or whatever. And I've got the couplers, but one of the things is this machine I've been planning for a while, and I've had the design in my head probably for the last 3 years as
hmm
to what I wanted to build, and it compares very much the same as the alt mill. And I've been listening to what people have been complaining about the alt mill. Great mill, works really well.
hmm
But the biggest complaint about the alt mill is the stepper motors that stick out. And I've
Yeah.
noticed that quite a few machines is that that's an additional 4 to 6 inches that you add to the width of your machine for
Hmm.
the stepper motors. So I've gone, space is a bit of an issue to me. And I figured that I can then reverse the stepper motor so it comes in behind the gantry, and I can do the same for the y-axis, the two stepper motors for the driving of the y-axis. I can bring them in inside the gantry, so they're inside the parallels of the gantry.
Hmm.
And I thought, let's give it a try.
It would be nice, actually. I I've seen several machines that do what you describe, um, and it is not what folks commonly think of. Usually, they just slap them on there and they say, "Yeah, well, this just the cost of doing business is going to be a little bit wider." But I like it when somebody takes the time to engineer a solution like that.
Yeah. Well, I
Yep.
don't think it'll be overly a great engineering feat or anything like that. It's just more so. I figured that like there are some limitations to those couplers as well. That like I've actually purchased the good ones, the ones with the nylon little nylon insert, the three-fingered insert that goes in between them.
Hmm.
But I figured that with the belts, it also gives me some room to play around with some um, additional features. Like, for example, I can reduce the speed. I can reduce the speed of the crossfeed and so on,
Hmm.
but at the same time, I'll gain resolution and I'll gain torque.
Yeah.
So this is why I've did that. So the X and Y axis is going to be 1 to 1
Hmm.
um, to start with, and but for the Z axis, it's going to be 2 to 1.
Yep.
Actually, it was at 2 to 1, so that was 30 teeth, and that should be 15 teeth, I believe. I got Yeah, so it's going to be 2 to 1. So that means that I'll with a 1/8 step, not using half steps, and that gives me a point oh two millimeter resolution.
Hmm.
And with a 15 to 1, it gives me a point oh one millimeter resolution
Oh,
on the Z
really?
axis.
It's nice.
Yeah, so basically that's when you do the 1/8 step, but at the same time that will increase the torque, um, and but the resolution is the big thing. Like when you're doing bas reliefs, metal, like 'cause one of the things that I'm looking at doing more of is medals, awards, things like that. Not awards, but logos, badges, and so on. And the better Z resolution is probably is one of the big things when you're doing badges. Yeah, is to get a good accurate Z resolution.
Hmm.
And what I found with the closed loop stepper motors, I get something like around about I get almost double the speed or double the RPM on a closed loop stepper motor compared to a standard stepper motor. Then the next
Hmm.
step from there will be servos. I've gotten one servo motor which I showed the other week.
Hmm.
But yeah, I'm going to start playing more with servos as well to see what accuracy. One of the things I've noticed with servos is they might have a false accuracy.
Hmm.
I noticed that when you like when you'll notice what I mean when you're playing around with the MPG.
Hmm.
Um, you're sort of like as you're clicking down, there is like a very slight delay in the movement while it's figuring out what it's doing.
Hmm.
Um, where the and it's more like the servos are more analog, which is a good thing.
Hmm.
Where with a stepper motor, it's more digital. So when you do a step, it'll be whatever the 1/8 resolution, 1/8 step resolution will give you. So it'll
Hmm.
just click into place there. So I'm just wondering, are servo motors really more accurate, sort of thing, particularly when you're moving up and down? When you reach a point that you want, like, so when once you reach, say, a Z height or a Y distance,
Hmm.
then and it'll hold it there. But when you're actually moving, say, from zero point zero 0.01 of a millimeter to zero point zero 0.02 of a millimeter, I think that there could be a little bit of a thing there while it figures out where it wants to go. So
Hmm.
that was sort of like, I'm just wondering how much better are servo motors over stepper motors?
I think what you're describing is called hysteresis or hysteriosis or something like that.
Okay,
It gets,
swear at me like that.
yeah, it gets a little hysterical. It goes too far and then bounces back, goes
Comes
too far
back.
back, yeah, and then it
Yep,
locks.
yep. And you
Um,
can actually see that. Like when you sit there and you click, and you focus, like, it doesn't happen all the time, but there are times
mhm.
when you see it go a little bit deeper, then come up, and it's sort of like it sort of settles itself, sort of thing.
Yeah, yeah. Eh, it is what it is. I mean, it does,
Yeah,
but I think it's way better than the steppers as far as that goes. I think um, from a speed standpoint and for most operations accuracy as far as where the part is, because when you get those servos tuned, you're not really going to see much of that back and forth thing. Um,
yeah.
but it's getting
Look,
them
as
tuned
I
up. And,
said, yeah. As I said, it's more so when I've noticed it when I'm actually zeroing Zs, and I'm like, sometimes it doesn't need to be accurate. So what I'll do is I'll actually spin up the spindle, and
hmm.
then I'll click down till the Z touches the bed,
Hmm.
and it's a sacrificial bed. And you see it hit the bed, and then you sort of like bring it up. And while you're clicking, you can sort of like see that you actually end up in a little bit of a battle with it while it's going up and down, sort of thing
Hmm.
sometimes.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I was going, interesting. But um, one of the things, I've never been able to get the MPEGs work properly, and a few people have said that they have, but no one's ever come back with settings or how they've achieved it or anything to show that they've done it. But
Hmm.
I've never had it say like point oh, like positive click. So as you click point oh 0.01, that it actually reflects that in the stepper motor movement, because you can't really simulate it because of the angle of the stepper compared to the WotC. It'll never be point oh 0.01 every click individually, even with micro clicks and stuff like that.
Hmm.
So I've been like, I've given up on MPEGs on stepper motors, but on servos they do work well. You'll get your point oh 0.01, point 0.1, etc., tenth, hundredths, thousandths, sort of thing. Yeah.
Hmm. I just to go back a second. I was going to show you the one on the Tormach, and I found it. Um, the Tormach has this fourth axis available in two sizes. This is the larger one. Uh,
Ooh.
yeah. Uh, so
Well, that's 10. That's 10 grand for us Australians plus.
yeah, and it's a little pricey for me to consider that. Um, so when this guy came out with his plans, I was like, ooh, let me see that. And so he came out with his plans, and then um, several people got to building, his thing. One guy came up with a variation of a theme, and I'm gonna show you that uh, his uh, his thing as soon as I can. Here, uh, unfortunately, all right, it's being difficult. Here we go. So with sound. and then I'm going to turn the sound down a little bit. He modified it from the plans. This is a little more complicated, and he has a pneumatic chucker on here, but I'm not going that deep on my project. If I want, I'll do it later. But this is his little three tool tombstone, so he can make three parts at a time. When he's done building this, or excuse me, there's two spots on that tombstone, so looks like he can do two in this first pocket and one on the other. Uh, he side mounted his stepper motor, and he went with a closed loop stepper on his. So that's kind of what he's done with his. I'm sorry. This was while he was making it. This is a variation on the type of plate that I'm using that he's got. This is a quick disconnect plate as well on his. So you get kind of get the idea anyway of what they're doing.
If I can offer you a suggestion based on because I've been using a little flimsy rotary axis, one of the Chinese ones, and
Mm-hmm.
don't get me wrong, they actually work really well. I wouldn't machine like he is with it because it's not strong enough to
Mm-hmm.
do a rotary machine like that. It's more so for turning and then doing the operation.
Yeah.
Is I would also work on while you're designing or while you're cutting the actual housing for
Mm-hmm.
the. Can you open up the one that he had?
The one that we were just watching,
But you had some stills
or the
of it.
CAD drawing. What
Yeah,
which
just
which
something that just start with the first picture that you opened.
okay. The modified one that we just saw cutting, Ned, is
Yeah,
that what you're like?
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. Start with
gotcha.
that one. Yeah.
Okay. Righty then. I think this is it. Uh, we were back up at the top of this page. I had moved away. Let's see. This one.
Okay, he doesn't have it. It must have been on one of the earlier drawings. I noticed there were some keyways in the middle at the bottom. Okay, now he's got the locating fixture plate there, but what I was going to say is I think you'll find that he's actually had to use that tombstone had to be like something big and solid to stop
Yeah,
it from flexing. Okay.
yeah.
What my suggestion would be is straight away work on indexing on the base of the main housing for your rotary so as that you can either mount it onto a sled so you can bring like a stop or a rest to the
Mm-hmm.
back of it to actually hold it so you can use thin flat pallets without them flexing so you just got to get your centers aligned and so on.
Mm-hmm. There was
Oh,
also in these plans that they provide a trunnion if you wanted to go with that.
okay.
So he's got a lot of things. He's got a different self-centering vise that he wants you to use, that he would have you use. Let me see if I can open that up for us. Oh, no, it cancel. Don't want to save it that way because then what I'm looking for. Open. There we go. Let's see. Nope. Okay. It's going to be difficult. All right. I'll stop sharing while I get the plan I'm looking for up. Yeah, I think it is. So, rather than having the chuck that I showed in the CAD drawings, um, he came up with uh, a saddle that mounts to the front of the thing that houses one of these 3-inch or bigger self-centering vise, and just waiting for Fusion to open rather than
Mm-hmm.
because I confused it when I opened up a second issue, instance of it. Um, Hearing your experience. Yeah. I guess my computer is slow because it's running 2 instances of a CAD package and a live stream. So we'll just talk while it
Mm-hmm.
deals with schizophrenia. Um, but there's also a fixture plate with a trunnion on the end of it. All right, here we go. That you could get. This is one solution he came up with.
It flicked on for a second. Now I see you.
Okay, let's see. Hmm. Let's try it again. This is the solution.
That just.
So this is the little square version of the vise, rectangular
Yep.
anyway. And it mounts this into this big saddle onto the faceplate of the rotary axis, the fourth axis. So
Yep.
you could machine like it's impossible for me to do this correctly with the mouse I have, but as it spins around, you could work on different sizes or sides, or you could index um, to work, drill on that side, work on the flat side, work on the other side. So that'll get you 3 sides.
Yep.
Mhm. With the round one, where this one mounts, um, the round one that I
Flat to
have,
the face.
yeah, flat to the face, I can get access to 4 sides. So, or actually 5 if I want to do like a side planing or thing. So anyway, it just seemed like a better solution to me. And if this one works and I get excited, I may actually build this too and get a second, second vice, and just for different operations. But I'm gonna
Oh,
get one
look.
off the ground. You know.
Oh, look. It's a good sturdy. Looks like a good sturdy design with that cycloidal gearbox on there. Like it. Yeah. It's very interesting.
Mhm. The problem is, if you were buying a cycloidal gearbox new, they're very expensive.
Yep.
Uh, but if you're buying a used one, they're not. And so, yeah, that's the route I'm going to go. For what I need, I don't need the precision of a robot, um, which is where cycloidal, uh, not cycloidal, you got me going. Harmonic drives are used. So, I imagine Ned's off bringing in. He probably has a harmonic drive sitting around somewhere. Yeah. So anyway, gonna be a fun project. It's gonna be a fun project. I just keep telling myself that it will come true. It will be a fun project. It will be a fun project. Uh, um, continue speaking here, but one of the things I'm looking forward to on this project is I've not done any sheet metal bending since I was in like eighth or ninth grade, and it's going to be fun to bend up a sheet metal housing for it. Um, the one that we showed in the video earlier, the guy 3D printed a plastic housing on the side, and I think that would be a nice solution. Except I know that my coolant would eventually um, harm the 3D printed stuff, so I'd probably have to print a couple, two or three, and just change them out every so often. But
I forgot to say or to check. I had my headphones on. I could hear you. I just went out in the next room. I was
hmm
trying to talk to you, but the microphone was off the tablet.
yeah. Well, you also have the microphone hanging up by the.
Yeah, it
Okay.
doesn't turn it off though. I just
Yeah.
I, I just put the headphones on so it was louder. So the tablet hasn't got very loud speakers.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Um. Yeah. It's. I think it's going to be an interesting, fun project. We'll see.
Yeah. Yeah, look, I'd still look at 3D printing the housing. The sheet metal still bends the same sort of thing, so that shouldn't be an issue. But there's no reason why. What's your concerns with 3D printing a housing for it?
Um. I'm not certain that. Well, actually, I have to do the math, but I don't think my print bed is big enough to print a housing. Because the dimensions are 6 by 6 on the block. Um, I know I've got the Z height for it, but I don't know. I think the 3D printers are like 230 or 250 millimeters, something like that, wide. It's an
Look,
Ender
yeah,
3.
they're yeah, 240 or 250. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, I'd also jump on Craigslist or on Facebook Marketplace. There's a lot of
this says I
young
could do
guys
it.
on there,
Yeah,
huh? Yeah, but
yeah.
there's a
The
lot of
math
young
works.
guys. There's a lot of young guys out there that are doing 3D printing. And for
hmm
some of the bigger stuff, like, I don't have a Bamboo Labs, and the Bamboo Labs are considerably faster, so
Yeah.
that they sort of make some there. But I got a young guy to print me out a big ball
hmm
that was bigger than the bed that I had at the time. It was like 280 or something like that in diameter. It was almost 12. It was just under something like 10 inches in diameter, and it wouldn't fit on my bed. But the price that he printed it for me for, and include that was including the filament, and
hmm
I would have been looking at a 12 plus hour print time on mine.
Sure.
Um, and uh, when you look at the price of, there was over a kilo of filament in there, and he charged me something like $60 to print it.
hmm
It's it. Yeah, here you go, buddy. Go for it. You know what I mean? Like, here's the cat drawing.
Yeah, yeah. The truth of the matter is, I have a friend who just bought a Bamboo Labs printer, and he would probably love to print something for me. Um,
Yeah.
it's just I don't know. Um, now that I've done the math, though, now that I looked and see, yeah, actually, my Ender 3 would be able to fit it. Maybe I'd go that route, but I would much rather have somebody print it quick in a Bamboo Labs thing than the Ender because I know that
Um,
something that size
the
is gonna
qual the
take a while.
the quality is also much better as well on the Bamboo Labs printer.
Yeah.
Well, I couldn't one of the problems that I had with my old firmware and that on the old printer was when you reach the top part of the sphere, like it had come out looking really messy, sort of thing. On the Bamboo Labs, it for some reason it defies gravity, sort of thing.
Hmm.
It
Yeah,
printed much better, sort of thing. Yeah,
yeah. Um, what was I going to say? The uh, the number of different preloaded filament solutions that Bamboo Labs has makes it so much easier than experimenting with the bed temperature and um, the printing temperature of it. Their stuff has a code that already has handled that, so you don't have to worry, and it can print at the higher feed rates. I don't know.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
just what I'm saying.
They achieve some good stuff. Yeah,
Yeah. This guy has been really. Uh, I was trying to find pictures of the original um, completed fourth axis that I'm making from the plans, but most of the pictures I'm seeing now in the Tormach group are of this guy who took the plans as the basis and went on to uh, modify it. But I did find this. Um, this is the Tormach uh, version of it, and this uh, here, this is that quick disconnect plate I was telling you about.
yep,
And he's using another self-centering vise on that. So that's kind of the direction I'm wanting to go in it. And he has all these variations that he can use for it using these plugs that they provide, for the um, quick disconnect. So he's got several options going. So he could be swapping out. He could have four of the same vices, for instance, and he could, just swap them out, have a part ready and loaded, so that when one is finished, you put on the other one,
yep.
hit the button, it's cutting again. Um, so I thought that was kind of neat. Um, but to add a fourth axis ability to the router, all I would need is a different base plate. And since I'm making the base plates, it's not a big deal. Design the base plate to fit my T slots that I've already got on my machine, and I'm in business. I can, take the same component from the mill to the lathe, or since I bought extra material, I could build a second one, and the router would have its own, and the mill would have its own. But
Yep.
we'll see. We'll see how far down that path I get. You know.
Yeah. But when you were saying earlier, he's probably got a cycloidal drive he's gone to get, sort of thing. No, I actually
Yeah.
just went to check on something, but I will be keeping an eye out for a cycloidal drive, and I've been very serendipitous, sort of thing. A couple of guys that I know really sort of pay out on me how lucky I am. Like as soon as
Hmm.
I think of a project, somewhere very shortly after, something
Hmm.
drops in my lap for exactly the right price.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this uses a harmonic drive, not a
Sorry,
cycloidal
okay, yeah.
drive.
So
But
yeah,
either one would be fun to experiment with because they're both
yeah,
amazing drive systems. Um, hmm. Ooh, let's see. Now I'm browsing through some of the older posts on the Torma site. I thought I was keeping up with it, but apparently I've missed a few um, interesting projects that the guys are doing. I don't have time to do them all, but you get the idea. Um, but yeah, um, if only I was like Elon's stepchild and inherited all the money to do these amazing projects, or could get access to a couple of his robot assembly plants for few minutes. The crazy stuff I would have. Ooh,
You know what the problem would that be though, Bill?
that'd have to be
I
Elon's
I th-
stepchild.
look,
Yeah.
I think a lot of there's a few rich kids that are that I've seen do some YouTube channels where they
Hmm.
build stuff and so on. And I sometimes feel that because they can buy a lot of finished stuff at their whim, that their lives are very boring.
Yeah.
Um, if you could just go out and buy everything that you wanted, you'd have no reason to think.
Yeah. You're probably right. Uh,
You know what I mean? I think these guys do have, and this is some of the stuff that when I've been in the peak of when I've been making money, etc. I've noticed that, and that's something that I mentioned earlier. Is sometimes you go like, if it's that much cheaper to buy it, why not just buy it? Why sit
yep.
there and make it,
Exactly.
sort of thing. And you know, it's gotten to a point where I used to make circuit boards for all sorts of stuff and build stuff from scratch when I was younger.
Hmm.
And you know, like now you can jump on AliExpress or Amazon or whatever, and
Hmm. Have it
you
here in
go,
a few
why would I
days.
build it? Yeah,
Yeah.
and you just stop doing stuff like that, and a lot of times, like what you're doing now, you're making that rotary axis because yeah, and it's not that like, okay, you can't afford it, sort of thing. Like, look, you and I could build the space shuttle if we
Hmm.
had the money to do it. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Like,
You got the
it's not that
backers.
it's impossible. You got the
Yeah.
backers. We can do it, sort of thing. It's not a
Yep.
problem if someone will buy you a $500,000 or $1 million machine. We can make our own rocket engines. It's not that
Hmm.
we're stupid to it. It's just we don't have the funding for it. That's all.
Yeah.
But sometimes it's also nice to work outside the box and come up with a solution that, you know, that someone like the Elon Musk child or whatever will
Hmm.
just go, oh
Yeah.
yeah, I'll have two of those, thanks. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, no
Yep.
worries.
Yeah. I it's kind of funny because I was in the process of trying or thinking of designing a fourth axis. We've discussed it over the year. Um, fourth axes that were out there, and uh, when I got serious about it, and I was already looking um, for information on these harmonic drives, right? Um, and when I just about that time, this guy comes out with his plans. He shows himself building this. This is the same guy who built a 10 tool changer, automatic tool changer. Earlier. He's just good at what he does, right?
Hmm.
Well, when he came out with a $10
G'day,
set of,
Kurt.
hey Kurt,
Good
yeah,
evening.
yeah, when
Hey,
he
hey.
came out with a $10 set of plans for the fourth axis, I'm like, what am I doing? Just spend the $10, go get the parts, and make it.
Yeah.
And immediately after I spent the $10, within 2 days, some guy came on with a deal on the size of metal that I needed to make that body, which is the most expensive part of the build, other than the drive. Um, at a reasonable, it was a steal. Who am I kidding? At a really reasonable price, and I went and got a couple extra. And so now I have the material, I have the plans. I started, doing the tool pathing in Fusion to make sure I got it right, and I'm just gonna build the stupid thing,
Yeah.
you know. Um, but yeah, so Kurt, you missed a little bit. I don't know if you were watching or you're just coming around.
Yeah, I was out to dinner with my son. He's home from Japan, so he took us out to dinner. And
Oh,
uh,
fantastic. Um, this the one with the blue not Blue Angels, the Thunderbirds.
No, this is the other one. This is the musician.
The musician. Okay, Kai, I think his name is, right?
Yeah, Kai, yes.
Yeah. Sax player. Awesome. From listening to the recording you posted a while ago.
Yep, the world famous saxophone traveler player.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, excellent. So you missed my unboxing of the new uh, self-centering vise.
Oh,
Yeah, Amazon Prime deal. Uh, Pretty cool. I can't wait. But it's going on
yeah.
that fourth axis we were just discussing.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, I'm uh I'm back from camping for the weekend, so and then I got to go get ready for a trip to Florida next week and to do some stuff. And
Mm-hmm.
so I'm not going to be able to finish my new CNC for the next few weeks. It looks like
How far down in Florida are you going?
I'm going to Jacksonville and D-Land, and Daytona Beach in that area, Central Florida.
Okay. Um, isn't Taylor's in Jacksonville, isn't
Yeah, I was hoping to stop by and give him a little fit.
he? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Um, that definitely should check with him, and try and set something up because that'd be really cool. I think you two would
Yeah,
enjoy each other's company. Um,
get a meet and greet.
mhm. uh,
Then I
I,
then I got to go see Ned in Aussie land.
mhm.
Yeah, come on down.
Yeah, it's winter now. It would be nice to go in the middle of winter.
It'd be good to come down around about October, November, no later than November.
Okay.
But you're in that Florida area, or you're somewhere in that Florida area, aren't you?
Well, now I'm in Grand Rapids, Michigan, which is the almost to the tundra.
Yep.
We're on the
He's near
same,
Canada.
yeah, on
Yeah.
the same
Yeah, up
parallel
in the
as Bill is
cold.
just about.
Hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, look, yeah, if you're used to the warm weather, you can come down in summer. But ideally in Australia or in Sydney, the best time would probably be around October, November, and probably around about February, March.
so you're in Sydney?
Yep.
Okay.
Um, just so you know what I was talking about. This is the vise I just bought.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
or not that one. That one's 300 something. But anyway, this one, it's 165 or something like that. There we go.
Yeah, look at it.
Yeah.
You're spoiled.
Uh-huh. It was, I think, 129 on sale for Amazon Prime Day. Uh,
Nice.
they have the littler ones. This is 139. Um, yeah. So well made. Um, I haven't clamped anything in it, but it's pretty cool. Uh, so yeah, I'm excited.
Nice.
Give a guy a toy, you know. Um, Even before I finished the fourth axis, I could I have a pallet system for my uh, machine, and it's just as easy to pop a couple of holes in that, and I can mount that and use it for other applications until the other thing is done, and then still swap it in and out. But that's cool. So it doesn't have to sit waiting for the other thing um to materialize. But uh, I'm excited about it. So yeah, you're doing some world traveling, going around. I need to get out the door and do some of that. Yeah. Anyway.
My honey was getting her hip redone this spring, and she had it redone last spring. so I couldn't go anywhere. Then now that she's healed up and back to work, and the kids are all gone, I guess I can start doing what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And when she goes away for work, sometimes she's gone for 5 or 6, 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And we got another year and a half, 2 years of that, and then she retires.
Yeah, it was the same situation with my wife. Um, two more years and she can pull the plug, retire. So, yep. Yeah. Oh, so on this vise, you can see the name on the side. It's XIDIAN or XIDIA.
XDAD.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I tried to look up how they pronounce that, and you'd be surprised, but it's pronounced Shinjin, kind of like your cat. You were muted, Kurt. Sorry.
Well, Shingen is Shingun Tornaga was one of the great um, uh, samurai in Japan.
Hmm.
He became a shogun, so that's what we named the cat after was Shingun Toranaga.
Hmm. Yeah, it was really difficult trying to find out how to pronounce that because I was curious. Um, and it I would never get a sh sound out of the first part of that, the XID. Yeah, who gets that? Anyway, uh, I asked the listening device that Amazon sells that answers your questions, whose name I won't mention. I asked her how you pronounce, and I spelled it out in Mandarin. Or I spelled it out and said, "How do you pronounce this in Mandarin?" And she responded that it's spelled XADIAD. Exactly what I asked her how to spell or how to pronounce. Couldn't take that as a word. So I'm sure there's another way to ask the question and get the answer, but it took a while.
Yep. She's a little bit useless, so they
Yeah.
make a lot of mistakes. It's
Yeah.
AI. Jeez.
Mm. Hmm. Yeah. I thought that was kind of funny. Um, I tried to ask it 3 or 4 different ways, and after a while, you just give up. Then I asked Google, and Google got it right. Go figure. Mm. You're heading to Florida, and I just saw an ad in the Thunder Laser Group. A woman selling the Thunderbolt laser, but she's down towards the bottom part of the state. Ridiculously low price, like $2,800 or something like that for a laser that goes for I think 5 or 6.
If you look around, so some good deals come up.
Yep. But she didn't want to ship. She only wanted local pickup, and I didn't feel that taking a plane down to just buy it and have it shipped back up.
Don't you guys have like the Craigslist thing where people will bring it up for you or something like that?
We have hot shotters,
Yeah.
but that's 1,200 miles away.
Yeah. It's a little far for most people to do it, especially if you haven't inspected it yourself. If it was in
That's
Tally's
the
hometown or whatever, I would say, hey, Tally, go look at this. If it's good, pick it up, and
yep.
I'll arrange for freight from there. But it's not. Yeah, for him, I don't know how many hours it takes to get from Jacksonville all the way down to the bottom of Florida, but it's not a quick trip. Probably what, 4 or 5 hours?
Eight, eight.
8? Yeah. So mm,
Yeah, Florida's about, several hundred miles long. It's like almost, 800 miles long or something like that.
yeah. Well, I remember it took us a while to get down to Miami when I went in the 80s. Um, yeah. Anyway, um, my driving days to a place like that, I'm not down for that drive anymore. I'll fly, rent a car, drive a shorter portion of that trip, but I'm not driving from New York to Florida anymore.
I wonder how big the box is.
For the laser,
Yeah.
quite large.
It's fairly large, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Add another 12 inches each way, whatever the working size is. Add another 12 inches in the X and Y,
yeah,
easily.
yeah. But that assumes that she even still has the box. Most people get rid of it. Um, but yeah, it's one of those things. I will probably eventually pull the trigger on one from uh right from the factory or whatever, or by then I will have decided on a different laser or whatever. But I think there's a laser.
Well, there's some interesting laser options popping up.
Yeah,
And you know what? Making your own laser with a large working area um, is probably not a stupid idea either. There's not a lot to it.
yeah,
And as far as the one of the biggest things is the people that make the lasers, they have to put them in those big boxes because to when you're selling something commercially, you don't want no legal ramifications because an idiot buys it, sort of thing, and burns their eyes out.
mm-hmm,
But if you were making your own, you could just do a shroud along the head. You could do something along the lines of just a frame,
mm-hmm,
similar to the Auteur and stuff like that, the diode lasers, but actually make it for the CO2 laser.
mm-hmm.
And then you could have it that it just sort of like folds away up on the wall or slides away somewhere. There's no need for it to be a huge box. What it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I even have a set of plans for a CO2 laser that one of the guys in the Joe's firm um, designed and made up. Um, excuse me. That's almost 10 years ago, wasn't it, Kurt? Um, but
I guess, yeah, yeah.
I've got the 80/20 material and everything out in the garage, but it's just it's one of those things. Do I spend um 3 to 6 months building a laser, or do I buy a laser and use it for 3 to 6 months, pay it off?
Well,
Yeah,
the thing is, if it's not like a priority thing, but mind you, you'd be able to do your wing things and so on like really quickly out of balsa and so on with it.
sure. Yep.
So if you're still doing your plane kits, then that probably would be a good justification.
Hmm.
But there's not a lot in making a CO2 laser
No.
up, and I'd probably and the tube. See the thing is the tubes used to be really expensive before. Now you can pick up the tubes so cheap.
Yeah.
So for $1,000 you can pick up a 120 or 150 watt tube with a power supply.
Hmm.
Another $100 of $150, and you'll get from somewhere like CloudRay, you'll get the E series mirrors
Hmm.
and laser mount or mirrors and lens
Yeah.
mounts,
Hmm.
and then another few $100s for the stepper motors and drivers.
Hmm.
Yeah. It wouldn't be, but the thing is, you could end up with a four by four bed if you wanted to.
Hmm.
You could
I
build the
started
bed to
collecting
the
the
size that
parts.
you need.
I started collecting the parts to build my laser, and then I came across one on Facebook for $2,500 when I offered her, and I got more than I expected.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
you
Oh,
know,
I was the same, Kurt.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yep. And that happens quite frequently, actually. There was somebody recently in my town that had this exact same laser. Um, can't remember what they wanted for it, but it was about half price. Brand new in the box. They had just got, or not in the box, excuse me. They still had the box, but it was brand new. They had just opened the box and set it up on the stand, put a tarp over it in their workshop when the husband got ill, and so it sat for a year untouched.
jeez,
He passed away,
Well,
unfortunately, and so she was, just selling it. I missed it by an hour or so.
yeah.
jeez.
Well,
Yeah.
And I got mine.
the
I got mine through a family. They had a family feud going over it, so she had to get rid of it because, she moved out of the house because it's such a hassle between her and her husband or boyfriend or whatever he was, because she didn't know how to use it. It's set up perfectly, but she couldn't get it to work for her.
yeah.
And she got mad at Lightburn because they wouldn't help her get it to operate.
Hmm.
She probably aggravated them.
Yeah, well, the laser that I got, the lady must have bought it to do something with, and I think there'd be more people in this boat. It was beyond her. The laser was brand new. It was set up. They've pulled everything out of the box, but there was no indication that anybody had it. Like I could see that someone has done a couple of test cuts that would, like you can see it on that the
Hmm.
honeycomb foil that you
Yeah,
put it on. You could
Yeah.
see that there were a couple of like two or three lines. Someone's fired it up, but short of that, there was hardly any use on it. Everything was brand new, came with a chiller and everything. What did we pay for it, Trish? 1,200 Australian,
Yeah.
which would have been around about 700 or 800 US.
mm,
And 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 it came with a stand and a whole pile of additional material, a rotary axis. Yeah, so it came with all that gear.
Hmm.
But I've also seen not working lasers go for $200 or $300 where people just sell it as
Yeah.
parts,
Yeah.
and that's actually not a bad buy either, because generally it'll either be the laser power supply or the laser tube that's gone.
Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
There ain't
There's
nothing to
there's a
them.
couple. There's a couple out there right now that fit that bill. Um,
Mm.
but yeah, I mean, if it's a brand that's still in business, then you get parts. Not a big deal. Um,
Well, I don't. I don't think that's the correct approach there, Bill, because generally it's just a box with a Ruida controller in it.
yes. Yep.
So the parts should all and you know what, a lot of them only use NEMA 17 steppers in them.
Hmm.
Some might use NEMA 23s. Everything is pretty stock standard in them.
Hmm. Yep.
I'm
Um,
just a bit tired. How you going?
there's some there's some really good ones. It's just a
Yeah.
question of
Yeah,
if
this
the
is a bit
tube is
cold,
not
isn't it?
working, you know, get
Mm.
well, it's not even a question of that. It's a question of, can you recognize that the tube is not
Yeah, I
working,
think it was about 1 degree this morning when I
and
left
don't,
at about
fire it up
7.
and blow the tube and then have to go out and get it.
What you
So
been up to?
it's almost like you want to
Mm.
consider the tube an expendable expense that you were going to replace
Yeah, bit the
anyway, and
same.
just try and figure out where you can get it
Just put a
ahead of
wash
time.
on and
The
Well,
glass
the
tubes we're
tube,
talking
what
about.
did the
yeah,
shoe that
the
wipe
glass
out?
tubes are available on AliExpress and they are selling
Yeah.
really cheap. You can
Yeah.
use, as I said, you can get 120, 150 watt tube now for something for a few $100s. I've seen them.
Hmm.
Um, the what you would test is the power supply. You'd see if the actual laser power supply fires up, and you can check if that's working with a just to start with a neon type meter to see if it's generating power. And if it is generating power and you've got no laser, then there's a good. In most cases, that the tube will fire up, but it just won't have the power that it used to have, or their lenses are damaged, sort of thing. So you'll more than likely have to buy a set of lenses, or the people have upgraded the laser and they've pulled the lenses out of the laser, scrap some of the stuff they want for themselves, and you end up with a frame. Look, either way, the only thing that's really expensive on that laser is the tube and the power supply.
Yep.
And the other thing,
chiller.
if the well, the chiller, you don't need to use a chiller. The chiller is only if you're going to run it all day. Otherwise, just a normal small recirculating pump is more than sufficient for short runs.
Yep.
The other thing would be is if the Ruida controller is damaged or not. But you know what? I don't think I'd use the Ruida controller. I'd go back to a standard controller and use the standard version of Lightburn rather than the Ruida version, because you pay extra for the Ruida version.
Yeah,
I'd just go a two or three axis controller on it.
Yeah. Well, if I'm building or rebuilding, probably going with Ruida, not because just because it's a solution I can just drop in. Yeah. But I get it. I have no doubt that I have the technical savvy to put one together and get it working.
A lot of installed base on the Ruida lasers here, so everybody's got one.
Yeah.
So
so that makes it more attractive as well. But like if I use something like Mach 3 or just tried to take some steppers and drivers and trying to to drive it, then I'm out in the woods. No, it's not no man land.
I'd go an Arduino. I'd go an Arduino solution.
Yeah, I don't want to. I did a lot with Arduino at one point, but I'm not going there for anything complex anymore.
It's more so like because if you're driving it directly from the sender, so if you're using the universal G-code sender for the Arduino controller, it's not a problem. It's only when you want to do it from and if you've got the Arduino based controller on it, you can feed it directly from Lightburn anyway. Similar to you'd basically base it on something like an Autor or something like that. The stuff that you'd be doing is fairly straightforward. It'll only be short run stuff. So you wouldn't have the general problems you would have with making a CNC with it. I wouldn't use an Arduino controller on a CNC. I think that they crash and they have problems. But for a laser, I haven't had no problems with my Autor. And it would save on the upgrading costs on the Lightburn.
Yeah.
We used to buy sign making equipment, for example, a cutter, and people would buy the cheapest junk they could find and use Arduino, and then they have to fight that stuff. And then, in my case, I went ahead and bought an Anagraph, which is a top end cutter, and some top end software. And while they're fiddling around trying to do their low cost, I'm up and running, making money with it because the software is already proven, and there's not a lot of fiddling around with it because it's already set up. So sometimes you make that trade off. In my case, I just wanted to run it. I didn't want to be the guru of it. Some of you guys like being the guru.
Well, the thing is what the scenario that you're explaining there, Kurt, that's you're absolutely correct. You just go with a turnkey solution. But you know what I mean? And for us, we're already quite familiar with CNC. And it's
Mhm.
not
Yeah.
like we're using it for production run stuff or anything like that. And that's why something like a Arduino based controller would
Yeah.
actually work quite well on a laser.
Okay.
But yeah, if I was running a business or something, and particularly if you had a monkey standing there cutting stuff, you would just do a standalone controller for it.
Mhm.
Definitely.
It really comes down to choice because
Eventually, slowly, but
when we built our routers and stuff,
get her a treadmill.
there was a huge cost difference
Yeah.
between, us coming up with our own setups and using stuff. Gecko hadn't really come out yet with their G540 and stuff like that when we first started. So you had to
Yeah.
know a lot of different skills to pull it
Yeah.
off. Having gone through all of that a couple times in a couple of different projects, now if I got the money to throw at it, I'm going to buy the turnkey, not the turnkey solution, but the off the shelf
Yeah.
product that does
Yeah.
the majority of that function, just because
Oh,
of the
God.
time thing, like the Ruida, for instance. I would use that versus an Arduino, and a G-code sender and all those other things that I needed to add to make it happen.
Yes.
That's just it.
Well,
You know,
15 years ago when we got started in it,
yeah,
there was a great barrier to do it because the CNC machine was 20 grand just to get in it.
yep.
And the software was another 10 grand just to get in it.
That 20 grand
And then,
CNC machine was just a cheap one by the sounds of it as well.
It was.
well, yeah, just to get in it,
Yeah.
like the multicam. That was an expensive piece of equipment, $50,000-$60,000.
Yep.
Well, when Joe came out with his, and it was a proven system,
Yeah,
you could get in it for. I got into mine for like $2,200
it's about right.
because
About the same here.
I scrounged every part to get my hands on, and
You take care,
and
select everyone for me.
it took me a few weeks to build it. But man, I had it up
Yeah.
and running within a few weeks
Yep.
for
Yeah,
a
will
couple
do.
$1,000.
Yeah.
Love you.
Yeah.
See ya.
It
I'll
took
I'll
me
tell you
longer.
what
Bye. Bye.
I'll tell you
Go
what
ahead.
I miss on my CNC, sorry, on the laser, particularly once you've been using a CNC, is edge finding.
Mm-hmm.
I know that there's a lot of them now that have the cameras and stuff like that. I haven't
Sure.
played around. I got a Creality camera. I'm going to give it a try. But edge finding, Z-axis finding. There's quite a few things that I don't have on my Ruida controller. And look, it might support it, but I haven't seen anything on it, and it's only got basic inputs on the back of the controller for the various axes.
Mm-hmm.
That I would actually find quite handy is to have those features, and I could add those features using the Arduino controller.
Mm-hmm.
So there's just a few little things like that it would be a little bit more. What's the word that I'm looking for? You'd get more features out of it. Obviously, wouldn't be a standard thing that others would support, but it would open up additional possibilities for a creative person that knew what they were doing on it.
Folks are doing LiDAR now, cameras, all kinds of things to find
Yeah,
their position in the laser. It's amazing.
but I can't find a LiDAR that's cheap enough that will do better than 1 millimeter or half millimeter resolution.
It has to be out there because they're using them. We just
Oh no, yeah, but
yeah.
there is, but they're very,
Yeah.
very expensive. Like we're
Yeah.
talking in the thousands of dollars sort of thing. We're not talking about $100 or $200.
Yeah. You got to
If
find
you
that
want to get
one
a
right
2
market in China that has them. You can just walk
yeah,
up
the
and
two
grab it
decimal,
off the shelf.
the, yeah, the 2 decimal places in metric LiDAR would be really, really good.
Yep. Well, anyway, that's dream stuff. I just got to build my fourth axis and get that rolling. Get my router table producing again, and you know,
Are you still getting sales for triple edge finders?
yeah, yep. So it's just one of those things. There is a lot of competition now because it was a good idea and everybody came up with their own. I won't say copy because most of them look nothing like the triple edge finder, but they don't also have the same functionality.
I've I see. I don't know if you guys are sort of like sensing it or seeing it, but I'm noticing a bit of a decline in interest on CNCs. People are going more towards the metal 3D printers or the 3D. They seem to have gone back towards 3D printers,
Yep.
and probably more so towards fiber laser. Um, everyone seems to be focusing on the fiber laser aspect of things. You don't see a lot of content coming up and a lot of talk on new stuff
Yeah.
with CNC routers, but there is a lot of most of the content is how to make money at the market
Yeah.
stall sort of thing, content sort of thing.
Yeah. Well,
I
the
made
fiber laser,
$5,000 this week.
yep. The fiber laser doesn't make any noise. It most of the ones that like let's say the one from Thunder Laser, just as an example, it's smaller than a college refrigerator. You know, the little refrigerators that you take to college with you.
Yeah.
It's smaller than that, so you can set that up at the show. You can throw your dog tags or whatever it is that you're making on that, and do the custom stuff right there for them. So for a lot of people, that is it's a moneymaker.
Mm.
You could probably get 2 fiber lasers for the cost of one decent sized CNC router now. The difference being, if you had the materials and the experience and know how to use it, the day that you take it out of the box, you could begin producing.
Mm.
So who knows?
Well, I've been quite tempted, but it's very hard to get an accurate time, how long it takes and cost to produce one of my 3D badges, and I'd like to see one actually done um, in brass or something like that on a fiber laser. And we're talking about a 7 to 10 millimeter or a quarter to 3/8 thickness engraved sort of thing, relief. I'd like to see how long it would take them to remove something like around about 3/8 of an inch of material to reveal a badge or a buckle or something like that.
Do they have factory reps from the various companies in Australia where you could go to the shop and take the file? Or?
I do have. I've got a company called Tromark, just up the road from me, just literally 2 minutes up the road. But when I talk to quite a few of the guys, they're more out of the box. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like it's more cutting or just standard engraving. It's not really. A lot of them are very limited in their experience or knowledge in pushing the product beyond basic features, sort of thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's the only thing that I found. I have spoken to them, and that would be an interesting angle, is to do 3D reliefs like the crowns and the
Sure.
various emblems and so on for regiments and things like that. And the quality, I've seen people produce coins, and they look quite good, but it appears that it does take quite a while to engrave those. And the other thing is the consumables, is how long would the laser last with those? Because you're probably looking at around about a $3,000 outlay to get a. I think I'd be looking at probably around about a 2 or 3 kilowatt fiber laser in order to make it worthwhile.
I don't know. I See, I don't know if all of the advertisements for the fiber laser have been sped up from what I see, but I don't know. I know surface engraving takes very little time at all. I just don't know how long it takes them to blast away a relief engraving.
Yeah.
There is a shop local to Syracuse where I could take the thing and say, hey, I'm considering getting one. Here's a file. Can we make one and see, what the workflow is like? And they would just be happy as all get out to cut one. I gotta imagine it's the same thing for, different places, because if you're serious about getting something like that, they want to sell the machine, you know.
Because the finish that I can get on a CNC is and that's even on a cheap. That's one of the reasons for this double the resolution on the Z axis. The finish that I can get on brass is like very, very good. And it still takes a fair bit of time to cut it on brass, sort of thing. So it's not that I'm trying to save on the time, but it's more so what are the consumables or what are the running costs of the fiber laser to do that. Yeah, and because it's doing layers, would it be something like so even with SLA printers, you get those little contour lines unless you sort of like angle it and stuff like that. I guess a little bit of tumbling in some kind of media would polish them up a little bit. But yeah, they're the sort of things. It would be interesting to see what it can do.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm in the right thing here. I was just looking it up to see what these things cost. Oh, okay. All right, now let's go whole hog. I'm going to share the screen for a second.
Let's have a look.
Yeah. So they started at 4, but this is their high end one with a MOPA.
Yeah, you want to get the MOPA. You also get color with those. Oh, okay, you're getting a full enclosed one.
Yeah. This is 11K. Yeah. But they're less expensive one, which is also enclosed, by the way, is $5,000.
How many kilowatts is that?
This one? Let's find out. Product features. Material, plastic, blah blah blah. Somewhere on here here we go. This is the light one. This is 50 watt. There's a 20 watt, a 50 watt, a 5 watt, and a 60 and 100 watt. The MOPA. Was that what you're asking?
Well, I've been looking that it should be more like 1 or 2 kilowatts. Or is that like is that actually a fiber laser, or is that one of the UV lasers, or
There is a UV, which is this
it's
one.
okay? That's UV is 5 watt. The fiber is 20 to 50, and the MOPA is 60 to 100.
Right.
Okay, I thought that we needed to go a lot higher than that, but okay.
I don't know. It may. It might, depending on what you're.
Because those standard ones with a yeah. Well, see, that's actually a 2. That's a 2.5D.
Yeah, I realize you're trying.
That's not a 3D. Yeah.
Yep.
See that, and that's the thing that you got to distinguish is like between 2.5 and 3D. So you got to look at. Oh, there we go. That
I missed it. Where did it go? We just saw it.
We just saw it. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll click on that again. No, it's not giving it to us. But there was that picture on the cup. And it went well. Here's this is 3D right here.
Yeah, but see, that's very shallow. But let's have a look at it. I'd like to see the depth on that.
Contact your local dealer. And I'm sure they will help you out with something like that. Yeah.
See, there's a lot of guys doing those. It looks like it's very like a deep 3D engrave, but it's just the way that it does it. It's actually very shallow. It's that people are doing, like on the lasers at the moment. I've looked at a few of those. Yeah,
Okay, well, we're
and that's why I said you're looking at a quarter to 3/8 depth relief sort of thing.
yeah, and you want to go deeper.
Well, no, well, quarter to 3/8 would be quite sufficient.
Oh, okay. This was just one of many brands. There are others that are less expensive and um, do different things. But yeah, this is just an example because
Mm.
um, there was one guy
And
who
the ones
was
that I was think the
uh,
ones that I was looking at was the ones like that have the galvo head that's on a stand sort of thing.
yeah, um,
I guess that'd be the
Xfinity
same thing.
or yeah, one of the other companies had those. Um, and I wish
I
yeah,
those last couple of pictures you had looks like that's the same thing, but they've just put an enclosure around it.
yeah,
They generally have the laser power supply and everything, and the laser on the floor in a computer case type case, and then they have that
X
coming up
Tools.
to a table.
I think it was X Tools that has what you're talking about. See if I can find it real quick. Uh, products. Here we go. Yeah, they make you go through a lot of these. Um,
What's better, when they see the car or the reaction of the bride?
oh well. I guess I'm not going to find it quickly.
Mm.
But I thought it was X Tool that had the fiber laser.
But yeah, look, I started in with the CNC routers at towards the end of 2019. Start of 2020, I had I built up a fair bit of knowledge to machine a working product or a sellable product. I was lucky that I encountered the job on the Royal Carriage, um, and from there, I've picked up quite a fair bit more additional knowledge along the way, and I've been looking at how. So I've been wanting to get out of IT. I'm sick and tired of IT. I still do a bit of IT, but where the CNC journey has taken me is that I'm contracting to two companies, and I'm actually making very good money just operating CNCs and programming the CNCs for the jobs for them. Like very very good money. So um, and like what we're looking at now, I just don't see a market for the stuff that they're doing on those. Like I can understand, dog tags and that, but I just don't think doing things for the markets, even with a CNC router, is. I think it's sort of like something for someone that's retired and that just wants to make a few bucks, sort of thing. You know what I mean? Like, um, uh, where I do hope to set up a nice business doing the military displays, honor displays, things like that. And it wouldn't be it wouldn't be a high volume. They'd be custom jobs, and they'd be fairly well priced. You know what I mean? But the quality would also be there as well, something that you wouldn't be able to buy anywhere else. So that's sort of like where I'm heading with that. Where with the CNC router, once you learn how to, if you understand the CAD side of it, CAD CAM, that is a job in its own. And if you understand the CNC and also the materials, that's a job in its own. And if you've got a good grip on both of them, well, you're pretty much indispensable in the industry, and that will lead you to good work to start with. Um, Where with these, I still see them for most of the stuff, unless you're fiber cutting parts and that for companies, that it's really more gimmicky, sort of like it's not a guaranteed money maker sort of thing.
Yeah,
Not a
and
huge money maker anyway.
yeah, everybody is doing water cups, water bottles and engraving those.
Yeah,
So, it's yes, you can set it up to make money at it, but not, you're in amongst a pool of hundreds of or thousands of people who are also making, those water bottles. So you
yeah,
gotta have something unique, like what you're describing, the military honors things, or
yeah,
shadow boxes or whatever.
yeah. I'm still sort of like, I'd like to do something a little bit more fun that makes money, sort of thing. Yeah.
Hmm. Um, so X Tools did have a MOPA, 60-watt MOPA with a 40-watt diode laser in it. Um, so I knew I had seen it, but it's also enclosed. So, apparently safety from the prosumer market is a big concern. So that's why they're enclosing them. But there you go. I mean, these things are out there from many sources, and it's just a matter of choosing what you want. I'm not sure I've never heard of anybody
Do
doing do-it-yourself fiber laser. Go ahead.
do a AliExpress Mopa.
Okay. Give me
Mopa Galvo.
AliExpress.
For us pros like you and I, there, Bill, we don't need those safety enclosures.
MOPA fiber laser. Is that what we said?
Yeah, fiber Mopa Galvo.
Galvo. Okay. Let me add that. Galvo. Boom.
See, one of the things that is interesting about the Mopa is the colouring of metals, particularly stainless and titanium.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's not expensive.
No. What wattage are some of those?
Uh, Pick one. This one's 200 to 300 watts for $6,000. This one is that's part of the problem. You have to look at each one. Um, 20, 30, or 50 watt. The MOPA is 60 to 100 watt. These are dual machines, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, now can't see my tabs.
Do the 60 watt. I'll do the 100 watt Mopa M7. The second. Yeah, so you're up at $5,000 there, straight from Ali.
Mm-hmm. So there's another Rakus. So I don't know. It just really depends on what you want. Yeah, so between 2 and 5 grand for one of these. Um, there's a part of me that says I'd like an enclosure, but there's another part of me that says without the enclosure, you can put a bigger part in and move it around. I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Also, you can take, well, you can also take that head off, and you can put a welding head on it, sort of thing. So
yeah,
you can do what they call cold welding and stuff like that with it as well.
yep. Um, we talked about the dual machines last time and the time before that. Yeah, where they're putting them out there now with combination laser welder, diode laser, CO2 laser, all in one big box.
Mm.
You know, knock yourself out. It's like amazing what's coming up. So, all right. Well, we're past 9, and I haven't had dinner yet. You see me snacking. I hardly ever do that. So I'm
What are you
gonna.
talking about? I only just woke up when I came on.
Yeah, yeah. Trish took good care of you. You probably had something to snack on when you got up. So
Yeah, I
we,
might have had 2 eggs and bacon.
yep. There you go. All right. So thank you guys for hanging out. I appreciate it. And any last comments before we go?
No,
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
We do
good.
this every Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern time. There'll be a link in the group on CNC Router Tips. Always a pleasure, guys.
Have a good one. Catch you later, Bill.
Yeah.
I forgot to say, Kurt left before saying goodbye to him. Anyway,
Oh well.
I'll catch you later.
We'll catch him later. Yeah.
Yeah.